Welcome back to the F3Q Source podcast. I've got my good friend Brandon Carter Turnover back on the podcast. Turnover, it is so good to see you, to hear you. We miss you. And I know that your new region, the Northern Alliance, is blessed to have you in their community and now getting involved in their Q Source conversation. So I think as we jump in, just tell us how you're doing. Tell us how Q Source is going over in Northern Alliance. We were talking a little bit about differences in regions, and we'll just use that to kind of dovetail into this conversation.
Yeah, it's been going well. It's good to talk, Money Pit. I'm glad you
Mhm.
reached out. I saw a need when I first joined this region. I felt I was missing the connection with QSource, and so I went to several of the people that had been around a while that I knew had been, let's say, redwoods of the original region, or if they were just in the SLT of some facet. And I said, "Hey, why don't we do a QSource?" They said, "Well, we've done it in the past." And then so I said, "I would like to do one," and we planted one on a Friday that's kind of in the middle of both regions, and it allows for people to congregate between. And we average 6 to 8 guys, and I think that there's probably been overall about 15 different
Mhm.
packs come. Some people can't make it each week. We've had, I believe, 4 different leaders. So each week I assign a new leader. I've been kind of the site queue for it.
Mhm.
And we're following along with the national cadence, which is all where you guys are as well in Northeast Wake. So last week was meeting, and then this week is Live Right. It's been a blessing. It's been a chance for me to connect to packs, 3 different packs outside on a deeper level, more of a deeper connection about just as we get to know each other more than just you would in a cafeteria. You're really opening up and being vulnerable. It's been a blessing in that way as well. So it's been good.
Yeah, share what you said to me. It's like we touched a nerve or something with me asking you to get on here. There's something going on with you in this particular topic, I guess, this week that maybe God is up to, and we're just kind of playing into the script. But you found it curious when I asked you to join me here for this week.
Yeah, and ironic and whatever coincidence and I had preparing the packs for the 2 regions, which is Greensboro and Northern Alliance. I sent out the Q source topic this week, which is Live Right, into a Slack channel, just as if you do. And I was preparing to get on the national discussion, which happens at noon on Mondays. So I'm reading the Q source and kind of just simmering on it a little bit. And then you send me a text message and say, "Would you like to be on the topic today?" So the timing of it was ironic, but I don't think it was a coincidence. And God has a plan.
Yeah.
And as we think, but so then I really was challenged to go deeper and to think, well, what is it about this that Money Pit saw that this was a specific topic that I could provide value in? And I really had to think about it and be a little bit vulnerable. Some of it came back down to where am I at in my personal life? What is it that I do that someone from the outside might appear that I'm living right? And why am I doing that? And I'm in recovery. I'm almost 9 years of recovery. And one of the steps inside of, whether it's AA or Celebrate Recovery is step 12 is that once you have established that you're sober or you're living right, you're giving back. You're finding someone else that's in the need. And both of those programs, step 12, that's what is about giving back. And I think about it in living right. When we think about when Dredd talks about we're in the survivor mode
Hmm.
and then we're in the servant mode, there's a gap in there that most people sit in. They're no longer surviving, they're no longer bailing water out of their boat, but
Hmm.
but they're not helping anybody else. And when they're not helping anybody else, many times they're not helping themselves. And so they're at risk of going back. So when we think about living right, first thing you do is get right. So you got to get your body in shape, your mind in shape, and you start to do the right things. But living right is really about helping others
Yeah.
so that you don't go back into sad clown or into that mode. So I think that for me, it is giving back. It is about you know, being plugged in so that I can provide value. And as weird as that sounds, by being in servant mode, it's selfish because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to allow myself to fall back down the hill.
Yeah, I hear it. You know, you asked why did I think of you? And I mean, transparent, like I told you, I think of you for every chapter, probably. I mean, I know a lot of leaders and turnover, you communicate so clearly and succinctly on leadership topics that, I mean, when you talk about leadership, I get my pen and my paper out. You know, I'm learning at your feet as you talk about leadership. I love our conversations on leadership. But when I think about this specifically, so this chapter is about living right. It's a dedication to purposefulness. It's living forward outside of your own just worry and concern, and a living life on purpose to serve others. And you know, I only know what you're like when you're around me, but I know that when we're together, I feel like I'm the center of the universe. Like you're the type of leader that makes everyone feel like they're the most important person in the world. And that is someone who's not worried about themselves anymore, but is worried completely about the person that's in front of them. And that's what makes you such an inspiring leader. And whether you know that or not, you make us feel really cared for and concerned about and important. And it makes you the kind of leader that people want to follow. It makes you the kind of leader that is trustworthy and that we can trust very easily because I know genuinely you have my best interest in mind. And I really think that's where this quadrant is beginning to go when you are able to stop worrying about yourself because you've taken the time to get right. And now you can start looking outside and say, how can I help someone else?
Yeah, I appreciate those comments and thank you. And I believe that a lot of it comes down to um, knowledge is something like there's information and you have
Hmm.
information and you can read a book and now you have knowledge because you know the information. But wisdom is the application of that knowledge. So we learn things best when we teach other people, and it keeps us in tune to, do I need to learn more? Do I need to stay engaged in learning in order to educate, right? And I think it's the same concept when we're talking about living right. It becomes, I need to be accountable to myself because others can benefit from my support or my help, right? Not that they
Yeah.
need me, but I can provide value to them. And I thought of something too when I was preparing for the discussion this week was there's a difference between living for success
Hmm.
and living for significance.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Enlighten us.
And and living for success is where I spent most of my life. Most of my career, I was chasing a title, a position, a wage, a salary,
Hmm.
an object of something that I was buying because that was a status, right?
Hmm.
That's and from outside, someone would say, "Well, this person is successful." And I remember a moment in time when I was probably about 23 or 24, and I told my best friend, I said, I just want to be successful. And I thought about, well, what's success defined as? And typically it's about a title, a position, a
Hmm.
certain amount of income, something that can be measured in those areas. And what if I had said, I want to be significant and I want
Hmm.
to live for significance? And then it starts to think about it's not about the stuff or the position or whatever follows you, but it's about the impact that you do that you have on
Yeah.
others. And F3 and Q source really aligns well with that because it doesn't matter when you're in the gloom what you do.
Hmm.
You're named, and then sometimes you're named because people might realize what you're named as, but it doesn't matter if you're a fireman, if you're a
Hmm.
builder, if
Hmm.
you're a VP of something or whatever, because everybody has the ability to lead at all levels and they have the ability to impact and inspire others and leave a legacy about that.
Yeah, I want to touch on something that is was hard for me to understand for a while. You touched on it. When you're after success and especially if we define it with material things, monetary value, there's that old adage when you chase money, it runs from you, right?
Mhm.
Versus when you're after significance. I mean, when people come first, when making a larger impact comes first, when you're after significance by helping others achieve their goals, you can't get out of the way of success. And the most powerful businesses are the ones that aren't worried about the bottom line, they're worried about their customer. And their customers will throw every dollar they have at them because they're serving them so well. But when I just remember times in periods of my life, and I can still find myself there today, like the chapter says, you got to take the red pill daily. When you can get consumed about your life, your worry, the mortgage, the bill, the down month in income, whatever it is. And it's like the more attention and focus you put on that surviving, you just get sucked down that spiral of worry, of concern, of survivorship, and it just becomes self-consuming versus when even in that moment, if you can just look out and you can go see who can I serve today? Who can I go help today? Next thing you know, all those things you're worried about just take care of themselves. I would challenge anybody who's up against a challenge right now and you have some deadline, the end of the month or whatever. If you'll just forget about that and you just see who you can serve, it'll be amazing how a lot of those things just take care of themselves just in the pouring out yourself to other people.
Yeah, and it reminds me of, when I first started going to F3 and physically I was exhausted. Even though I had been going to a gym and things like that, I mean, just getting through a workout was like I was always I was always the six and I was always behind and it was hard. And as you go more, it gets easier. And all of a sudden you see that you have energy to put into other places.
Mhm.
It's no longer I just surviving this workout. I got to get through this 45 minutes. And giving back is important. And we realize we see at the time, we see people that are ahead of us, people that are, have done that. And you're like, okay, there is hope. There's a reason that I can get there. And some of the for me, because I've been in a dark place, I've been in in a lull before, I know what it feels like, and I don't want to have that feeling for someone else. So giving back
Yeah,
is really important. And I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna say it in like it is selfish
it is.
because, you know, because I benefit from it
Yes.
by the joy that I receive. So
I
like
mean, you get the most joy in life when you know that you've helped someone else accomplish something.
Mhm.
Like I feel, and I think I speak for everybody as a human being, I feel the most alive when I help someone else. I don't feel the most alive just accomplishing something for myself. I feel the most alive when someone has an aha moment or something's made possible and I'm giving of that. And that's really what I think we're after in life. The success you're after this feeling of accomplishment. And you think the accomplishment will come through money in a bank or a title. The feeling of accomplishment actually comes when you help someone else accomplish something. And so selfishly, when I go serve someone else, I feel the best. And,
uh,
and and someone else is blessed. I think that's how God designed it, that we're blessed as we bless others.
well, and in our lives, in our businesses, right? There's a relationship that's transactional, and the transactional is you help someone, and there's a payment that comes through,
Mm-hmm.
which is we need that for our business, and it feels good to see payday. You're like, oh, good, I got paid. But what means so much more is the text message or the thank you card
Right, totally.
that says, "Hey, thank you so much." The look on their face. Just that I get text messages all the time from clients, and it's like the aha moment goes off in the light bulb, and they just state that you could tell that there's an emotion behind it of gratitude. That means so much more than the transaction.
It does. I mean, we got to pay the bills. We all have financial goals, but the thing that makes our day the most is when someone goes out of their way to say thank you. You really blessed me. You helped me. You made this possible. That's really what fills our cup. And the other stuff just empowers us to do more of it. So it's a short chapter. It's really teeing up the whole second quadrant, which is another quadrant about, assuming that we've taken the time to get right. We looked ourselves in the mirror. Now, what's it mean to start living intentionally? What's it start meaning to living right as we start to kind of turn out of the survivorship? We've patched the holes in our boat and start to turn into being a servant leader. And really, I think if we think about the leaders that we want to follow the most, or the people that serve us the most, and if we want to be a leader that people follow and want to follow, then we've got to be someone that can serve the people that are following us. So any final parting comments? Just let's leave
Yeah.
Pax the things to chew on, to think about, that they can marinate on as they're waiting for their Q source day.
Living right requires daily sacrifice.
Yeah.
And getting right requires a lot of effort and energy in the beginning
Yes.
because we're learning, and I would say this, don't wait. Don't be stuck in the middle before you start serving.
Hmm.
Because the gap between survival and servant is where most people stay for
Yeah.
too long.
Yes.
And I think it's important that take action in small
Yes.
steps.
Yes.
Get out in front. This week is BQ week with Northeast Wake.
Hmm.
It's a great opportunity to serve.
Yeah. Yeah, well, along those lines, plug. I'll miss you at the Lake Life Beatdown. I'm going to be helping out with our second quarter third F project here in Northeast Wake. There's 10 guys already signed up. Could use a couple more. Again, we're helping a widow. It's called the Widow Orphan Project. It's the ministry is Hope and Vine, who serves women who've aged out of foster care, and yearly they do a project where they do a service project for a widow, and I've been helping with that for the last few years. This year, we're going to help a widow who lives in Wake Forest do a whole bunch of yard work that she can't do on her own. And I encourage you, if you're not going to be over at Lake Blues, riding on boats with Turnover, that you'll join me for the third F service project. So Turnover, I'll miss you at the Lake Life Beatdown, but you better expect to see me sometime this summer to come check out your new place in the lake and
Yeah.
see
I
the new.
think I think the biggest message there too, Money Pit, is you're not just sitting at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people that are going to have other things to do, but do something. Get out and be active and make a difference, impact others. And that's certainly a noble cause, like
Yeah.
to help a widow.
Yeah, well, we're going to reserve many other weeks for you to join me on the F3 Q Source podcast. I love how you are still available to our community. We still see you posting on Slack, how you're still a leader for us, and I appreciate your voice in this conversation.
Awesome, brother. Take
All
care.
right. We'll see you, Pax, at the Q Source table.